guys, how's it going? I am gonna just go for a little drive here. Just stopped on a side road, got the camera set up and ready to roll. So here we go. Finally, I could drive with my hands on the shifter. Set up to kick in at 185. The first fan. Downpour yesterday. Now it's nice and sunny. It's about 90 degrees outside, a little humid, sunny, clear. Car's running great. Best part is this thing gets about 28 miles to the gallon on the highway. Running at around 60 miles an hour. I'm at around 1500 RPMs. It's pretty good for a 416 stroker motor. Well, it's a light car. Let's get on to the freeway. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. Hopefully it's not a traffic jam. Let the young lady cross. Here we go. Consider this thing a pro street touring car. Suspension's been lowered 2 inches. Rear coil springs have been de-arced to gain or to lose the extra 2 inches, and in the front the coil springs are cut. But I do have a set of coilovers that I'm going to be installing in the near future. I just finished assembling them. They're QA1s. I don't like the way this highway looks. Everybody's getting that rev limiter there when I hit the fuel. The shifter going from first to second just takes way too long. We need to get a shift kit put in this thing. I just want an instant shift when I shift it to second. Third and fourth doesn't really matter that much, but first and second is pretty important shifting into second gear. I could raise the rev limiter on the Holly. I got it at 6,800. I could probably bring it up to like 72, but for into the danger zone there with the piston speed. There's a calculation to get the piston speed desired with the length of the rod and the stroke of the crankshaft. Pretty important. You don't want to exceed roughly 4,500 feet a second. LS motors rev pretty good. They actually make a lot of power at the top. I got rec cord heads on this 416 stroker. The heads are stock. I haven't boarded them or anything like that. I got the Brian Tooley Stage 2 naturally aspirated camshaft. That specs out at 225 on the intake at 50 and 238 on exhaust at 50. Lift, I'm not sure exactly. It's around 600, 615, something like that. Lobe separation angle is 113 degrees. This stage 2 cam in a 416 is like having a stage 1 cam in an LS3. I should have got a stage 3 cam. That would have spec'd out a... if I was going to buy another cam, I wouldn't necessarily get the BTR cams because, honestly speaking, comp cams and Summit Racing Pro LS cams, if you look at all the specs, they're very similar. So you get what you get when you get a cam. Whatever the specs are on it, you're going to get the same power from cam A and cam B if they have the same specifications. That being said, you know, something like 232, 234 on the intake side, and let's say 242 on the exhaust side and duration would probably make this a nice stage 3 cam. Well, it would be actually a stage 2 cam in this thing. It wouldn't be really considered a stage 1 or stage 3 cam because it's a 416. You got the extra displacement. So the engine is basically a Summit Racing Pro LS rotating assembly. So the forged steel crank, it's a 4-inch crank from Summit. The rods are H-beam rods from Summit. And the pistons are forged aluminum pieces from Summit Racing also. The cam is BTR, the valve springs are BTR. I got the trinium kit put on, but I'm using roller bearing trinium kit with the clips instead of the brass bushing ones. They wear out a lot quicker. I got the BTR push rods, they're 7.4 inches. I got 1 7/8 long tube headers on it. I have a 2012 Corvette water pump on it. The reason why I got that water pump is because of the outlet being on the driver's side instead of the passenger side. Makes the routing a lot better for the radiator I have. And the radiator is one of those Northern radiator, muscle car radiator. So it's an aluminum 2-core, very thick. I think it's 2.5, 3 inches thick radiator built for this specific vehicle. I didn't have to get that particular rad, but the dimensions have to be correct to fit under the hood, obviously. I got an LS3 intake. I had a truck intake before. I couldn't close the hood. The LS3 intake and the truck intake, people think the truck intake makes more bottom end torque, but the reality is, on the dyno, the LS3 intake and the L92 truck intake are identical, given maybe a half a horsepower and half a foot-pound of torque. They're identical, back to back. You think you're testing the same intake manifold. So there is absolutely no difference. The only other thing I did with this intake is I have a 102mm adapter plate, and I have a Nick Williams 102mm throttle body, mechanical throttle body. I could have went with a fly-by-wire throttle body, no problem. I got the Terminator X Max system, which supports the wireless throttle body, but I didn't want to go with the wireless because of one thing. It's more problematic when it does break. Usually it's the throttle position sensor and it's built into it, or it's the IAC sensor which is built into it, or it's the throttle motor controller that's built into it. So you have 3 things that could break. On the mechanical one, worst case scenario, your throttle position sensor goes, it's easy to replace. You don't have to change the whole throttle body and get nailed $500-600. The IAC motors, you can replace that too. They're about $50 from the dealer. They're GM style ones, so there's nothing special about it other than being the Nick Williams throttle body. So it's a bullet machine. track assembly cable for my throttle. It's the only cable that fits through their little track that they have. And she really has a nice sound to her. So I got, let's get back to the exhaust. I got tracked off over there. So I got 1 7/8 long tube exhaust with 3-inch outlets. I have two high flow 3-inch catalytic converters. They're metal core, not ceramic. I believe they are from Hedman. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember. So the exhaust system is 3-inch all the way back, and it goes into an X pipe, which dumps into two Corolla high performance 3-inch exhaust mufflers. They're right through design. And then it goes to 3-inch dump pipes, which are quarter dump in the back. I don't have the tailpipes put on. I should. I have the 3-inch tailpipes, stainless steel, and I just haven't put them on yet. And if you've seen one of my other videos, it's up there somewhere, where I was at my buddy's exhaust place, and he got rushed because he had another customer come in, and I was happy with what he did already, and I wanted to get out of there anyway. So we didn't end up putting on the flex pipes. I wanted flex pipe between the cats and the mufflers, and I wanted the tailpipes put on. We never got around to it. So eventually I'm going to have to go back there and get that taken care of. A lot of traffic today, unfortunately. You can't really give her. But stay tuned for another video tonight, because I finally got a damn camera mount that works. So we will be able to do something fun. I don't want to do it over here. This is residential, you know. Good place to lose your license. Not to mention, get into a lot of trouble. So we'll just putt along over here. It's locked up. I'm at 1,000 RPMs. Cruising along at it. I'm doing about 25 miles an hour. Cooling fans are both on now. I'm at 196 degrees. Well, it's a hot day today. Just putting along. I got like 40 pounds of oil pressure at 1,000 RPMs. A lot of people ask, what are those gauges? Well, the TAC and the Speedo are a Pro Sport. I don't recommend or disrecommend, that's up to you. And the smaller 52 millimeter gauges, which is like fuel gauge and oil pressure, coolant temperature and all that, oil pressure. This is actually 3 gauges in one. It's an oil pressure. I don't know if you guys can see it. You're probably not going to see it. Oil pressure, oil temperature, coolant temperature. So it's pretty cool. And oil temperature, if I didn't say that. Anyways, fuel gauge gives you in percentages and also a meter. And this is a vacuum gauge, turbo gauge, which I don't have a turbo in here, but maybe I will one of these days. I don't know. This car comes equipped with air conditioning from the factory, so it's got the extra 2 vents over here. A lot of guys put gauges in there. And non-AC cars, they'll drill those out and put gauges in there too. But I got a Sandin 508 style AC compressor, replacing the GM one. And I got the, I think it's ICE Bullet AC brackets that bolt onto the LS motor. So it's all set up really nice. I got all the lines hooked up and everything. I did have a leak in the condenser output, or yeah, the vacuum side, the big side line coming out. There's a slight little crack in it. It's in a bad spot, so I can't weld it. So I'm gonna have to cut it and put a compression fitting in there, or maybe cut it, repair that, and put an extension 1/2-inch pipe with a flare on the end of it and slide it back on, and I can braze it. I can braze it, no problem. Or I could just put an compression fitting on there and call it a day. We'll see how that goes. Because I don't want to go get the lines recut and refitted again with the ends on them. However, the number 10 and number 8 line coming out of the compressor, they're forgiving. I could turn them because they're coming out of the top of the compressor. I think they're at like a 30-degree angle, one on each side, and I could pretty well rotate it 160 degrees. Have the line come out any way I want. So if I put a compression fitting in there, and now I got an extra 3 inches of line, I could always tilt the fitting coming out of the compressor, turn it to the proper angle. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. I didn't really do much other than just cruising around. One of the fans have turned off. The temperature's dropped down. We got one running right now. Anyways, if you like my videos, please subscribe. I'll definitely be having another driving video coming up. And we'll go from there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.